Okay everyone, just a quick video here. This is Ricky from Ricky and Paul's Auto Shop. I'm currently working on a Mini Cooper S. It's a 2014. Customers bought the vehicle to me with the engine light on. As she was driving to the workshop this morning, the engine light went off. She has a little code reader, so she's turning it off using that, and it's coming on a few days later. Vehicle's been to a couple of other workshops. It's had, what does she say, a front O2 sensor, so bank 1, sensor 1, oxygen sensor. It's actually a wideband sensor, so very expensive. It's had a set of spark plugs, and the issue still persists. So I'm just here having a quick look at it for her. I'll just show you what fault codes are stored. I'm in just generic OBD here using the Autel scanner. I find for issues regarding emissions, you get a much better data using generic EOBD. You don't get any process values. Everything you see here is very accurate and true. There's no process numbers to lead you down a straight path. So the fault codes currently current and pending is system 2 lean bank 1. It's only got one bank. I'll just show you the freeze frame data. This is when the fault was stored, it saves the data and the live data, whatever the live data was at the time the fault occurred. So for instance, if the fault only occurred whilst it was hot and you were trying to replicate it whilst it was cold and you couldn't get it to fault, you just look at the freeze frame data and you see exactly how the fault even was set. So this P0171 system 2 lean bank 1, fuel system is in closed loop, calculated also 11%, so there was no engine load, it was at idle. Cooling temperature was 70, it was warming up. As you can see here, the long-term fuel trim is adding 25% fuel. That's it's maxed out at that, it won't go any higher than 25%. So it's adding fuel for a lean condition. Intake manifold pressure was 89 kPa. It's a turbocharged petrol engine, so it's going to be in a vacuum, that's right. It was at idle, as you can see from the RPM. Vehicle speed, it was 0 kilometers an hour because it was just sitting in stationary. Intake air was 39, 3.5 grams per second from the mass airflow. Fuel pressure is 120 bar. This is a GDI system, so it's high pressure. Fuel levels have basically half a tank of fuel. Accelerator pedal was not pressed. Yes, there's some good information there that you can use to work out what's wrong with the vehicle and when the fault was set and whatnot. So if we just go back, that's the issue we're dealing with. We're dealing with a system 2 lean. So what we'll do, if we just go to live data and see what it's actually doing right now, I'll just pick up a few data bits, stuff we need. Okay, so we've got some glare. Fuel system in closed loop, so the oxygen sensors are in control, they're controlling the fueling. Calculated load is 8%, we're well up to temperature now, so that load should come down. You can see we're 100 degrees. And 2.8 grams per second airflow, that's good. We're at idle, manifold pressure looks decent. This is the issue here, long term, it's adding up 26%. I said 25 was maxed out, so that mustn't be the case. It must be capable of adding more fuel than 25%. So that's the issue we've got. We're stuck at adding fuel. Basically, you're adding fuel for a lean condition, and it's adding fuel here just sitting here stationary at idle. Now what you can do, if you just increase the RPM, which I'll do now, is you'll see the energy RPM here. I'll get it up to around 2000 RPM. So it's sitting at 2000 RPM now. I want you to look at the long-term and short-term fuel trim. and you see how they're coming down. What you got to do is add these two together, and that gives you your total figure. So if you've got 11, that's still too high. You want it under 12%, or sorry, under 10%. Now what I believe we've got here, I believe we've got a vacuum leak when the engine's cold. I think the manifold gasket's gone. You see how the fuel trims are getting better, only at 14 now instead of 26. If they increase your RPM a little more, 3,000 RPM almost. We're only at 11%. When I did this off camera, when the vehicle was in the warming up stage, this dropped down to 0 basically, so it had perfect fuel control. So what I believe's happening is there's a vacuum leak when the vehicle's cold at idle. We don't need any spark plugs, any O2 sensors, any mass airflow sensors. The issue is a vacuum leak at idle. The RPM's increased and basically 10%. Anything under 10 really is enough for the computer run to have an issue with. As I said, as this is in the warming up stage, so we're at 106 now degrees Celsius. When this was at like 50, 60, 70, when I increased the RPM, I had these two numbers together and it was like 0, perfect fueling. So the issue seems to be a vacuum leak of a cold engine at idle. Now my foot's off the accelerator now. As you can see, it's adding again 27-28% fuel for a lean condition. I'll hook the smoke machine up and see if I can find any leaks. Okay, so we've just put the smoke machine on this Mini. Found the vacuum leak as I thought on the manifolds. That's the intake manifolds, and there's where it's sealed here, or supposed to be sealed. All along here it's leaking, and that's the vacuum leak we've got.